There we go. Welcome to WLAS Newton. I'm Matt Jacobson, and alongside me we have a very, very special guest, Sunset Capone. Sunset, how are you doing?
So far, so good.
So, right now we just want to go get that out of the way. We are going to be right back. We're just going to play a quick song real quickly, and we'll be back right after this. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to WLAS LP Newton. I'm Matt Jacobson. Please welcome back Sunset Capone. Sunset, how are you doing today?
Couldn't be better.
So, I just wanted, I read one of your previous interviews about yourself with Canvas Rebel, and you said that when you were younger, you got into a little bit of trouble with your friend and faced some consequences. What happened in that situation?
So, when I was in 7th grade, a whole bunch of dumb things, like really dumb things, that kind of added up. And it was just, I don't want to get too in depth with the specifics of what happened after that, because it kind of escalated. It went from car emblems to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing. There's some really, really big, scary person in your face about to, break it, because they caught up with you, So, yeah, I learned real quick what a cause and effect were. I think the frontal lobe of my brain fully developed at that point.
Wow. Yeah, I think everybody's had that moment once or twice where they think they're doing something. It's like, all right, I'm not supposed to be doing this, and then all of a sudden it catches up to them very, very quickly.
Oh yeah, and the worst part is some of the people not realizing it when we went around and did all this dumb stuff. Some of those people were people that were like parents of my friends at the time and everything. So when I'd seen them and after everything went down, like the shame, the shame was like incredible. Like the guilt, like that's one reason why I wanted to change my life after that point, because I just remember seeing like I'd been in like their houses and stuff, and like been friends with their kids for a long time, and then at that point in time, that's when I lost everybody. I lost every friend. No one would let me hang out with their kids. I was pretty much, I was on my own at that point. No one would mess with me. I was like a plague. I was like a virus or something. Everybody just wanted to keep me away from them. So I got branded as the bad kid.
So also, you said that you got into the music industry while playing the piano. Well, you were an EMT. I know you said that you talked a little bit about that in that interview, but I want to hear more about that because obviously, being an EMT and playing a piano, those aren't the really two things that really mix together.
Yeah, so basically after that whole 7th grade thing and everything, I became an Eagle Scout. While I was getting ready for college, I didn't really want to go to college. I actually wanted to join the military, but I got headbutted by one of my friends and thrown into a car and told that if, I didn't at least try college, he'd break my leg. So I, decided to give college a try. And, as I was going in, I needed a job. And my godmother at the time worked at this place called, and it was like I don't know, I guess you'd call it an upper class citizen, senior citizen retirement community. It's like Disneyland for senior citizens or something, So I thought, hey, you know what, I don't know what my major is. My parents and everybody wanted me to go into like law enforcement or something. I really didn't want to, but I felt like I was getting pushed into it. So I was like, a security job would probably work, I guess, as a college job, Got there and didn't realize till after I was hired that it's actually an EMT job, So, but it's a good thing that I was an Eagle Scout and had some first aid, experience and everything, and eventually got my EMT cert and all that stuff through the job. But while I was working there, they have all these grand pianos like sitting around, and I would walk around, I'd see them, and I'm like, no one's around. Let me just mess with one real quick. So I just sat down and just like, I was like, what would it look like if I was a piano player, a pianist, And basically when I started playing, I stopped and I look up and people are clapping and going crazy. Like I was sitting in a spiral staircase, and apparently everything I played was magnificent somehow. So I was like, they're just clapping because I'm, an EMT playing piano, I'm in uniform, they're just being nice, And then I did it a couple more times, and then some of the compliments that I was receiving were like so over the top. Like one guy came up, he's like, I've been playing my whole life. He's like, he's like, that dexterity, he's like, that you have in your hands, he's like, and the thing, like the things you're playing, he's like, I could never do that. And I'm like, whoa, you know, like that's quite a crazy compliment. So I had stayed away from music because my brother, who's like, we're pretty much touring now and doing shows, Hoya Man Band. He had a whole group that was selling out shows doing rap, and they were packing places to fire code, but nothing ever came from it. No manager came up and offered him a deal. No one found him. Nothing. You know, so I didn't want to get involved in that. I was like, do I want to go down the music route? No. You know, and a couple of my friends were teachers, you know, music teachers, and I was like, well, I don't want to do that either, chasing a paycheck like that. That's a hard life, you know. So I just kind of gone as a, you know, a general major in college, but then when this stuff went down with the EMT, you know, playing piano and all that, I was like, you know, maybe I should just check and see. Maybe I do have some sort of absurd talent, you know. And so I switched majors to basically music performance, specializing in voice and piano, and immediately made the dean's list. Everybody hated me. Yeah, I mean, it was kind of fun though, because if I didn't change majors, my GPA wouldn't have been high enough to actually allow me to graduate from college. So that in a sense, it actually helped me graduate. But when I changed majors, it was just like, I remember the first Friday of of like my whole semester when I switched majors. There was this guy Paul. He was my I guess you'd say my music manager at the time, because I was doing like I don't know. I had some experimental trance music stuff that I was kind of messing with. Essentially, he said on those Fridays you would go into the class. There's one of the professors was there. This lady. And she would have people just perform stuff they were working on, you know. And then at the end of the class, like, I didn't know you're supposed to dress up, so I was like in like a white shirt ripped, you know, with my hair all messed up and some jeans and stuff, like looking like, you know, look what the cat dragged in kind of stuff. And you know, she stops and she's like, does anybody else want to go? I'm like, and I look at Paul, I'm like, yo, I could just go up there and just play something. He's like, yeah, and he starts laughing because he knows exactly what's gonna happen. I didn't know it was gonna happen, but so I was like, oh, I raised my hand, right? And she's like, oh, okay, yeah, you know, go on, you know, what are you gonna do? And I was like, I'm gonna do off the top of my head by Nick, and I just like started ripping on the piano, and everyone was like, oh my god, like their faces, like I just pretty much obliterated everybody else that had performed at that time that were like working on some real hard stuff with just something right off the top of my head. Paul's laughing in the back, you know, realizing that I just made everyone hate me, and like all sorts of stuff. But yeah, so that kind of like is what pulled me, you know, into music, being, you know, being a little bit more serious about it and thinking that, you know, hey, maybe I do have a talent of some sort. I also found out that I'm a lyric baritone with a 4-octave vocal range, so I can sing bass, you know, all the way up to like mezzo soprano practically. So it is what it is. That's why I like to do a lot of genres too, you know, because I like to, you know, give people some variety and, you know, you make use of what I got.
No, I love how you talked about how you switched majors and stuff, because that actually perfectly leads into my next question. How'd you have time for all of that? 23 credits, working full time on the weekends, and of course focusing on your music. How do you do that?
Well, when I went into college, they told me that college is a triangle. There's 3 points to it. You have social life, good grades, and enough sleep. I just skipped enough sleep. That's what happened. But everything comes with a price. You know, I'm 36 now and living a fast life with not enough sleep, not eating right, too much energy drinks, coffee, all that stuff. It obliterated my, you know, from my mouth to the other end, like the whole way through, everything is just all messed up because I didn't take care of myself. I was too busy trying to do too many things. I didn't even burn the candle at both ends. I pretty much chopped it up into 12 pieces and set it on fire with gas, you know. I was going out to bars promoting, like I'd get out of work when I was working 40 hours on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. When I got out at 11 p.m. after working a double shift, I would still go to the bars and then go to the campus late at night, till like 3, 4 in the morning. And I'd just be, either playing guitar and kind of spreading the word about me, or handing out CDs or demos or something to people, networking and all that stuff. And then I'd come home maybe like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I'd get like maybe an hour nap, wake up, take a quick shower, and be right back at work. And it was a lot of work. But the thing that kills me is that if I knew then what I know now, things would be quite different. But yeah, that's pretty much how I handle it. It's pretty much a lot of willpower and a lot of coffee, a lot less sleep. But I wouldn't advise it.
And you also said before that you switched majors to music. What was your previous major?
When I first started, I didn't declare a major. I kind of wanted to feel things out. But then I was getting a lot of pressure from a lot of different people and a lot of different parties to basically do, something that's going to be related to the government, because the government jobs are apparently stable and have great benefits and all this other stuff. So I was like, you know what? If I wanted to do something, I'd probably want to do like DNA analysis, or like, I don't know, even being like a fingerprint technician or something. So I was like, you know what, let me do, some CSI stuff, So I did criminal justice with a concentration on forensics, and that's what I had declared before I switched majors. So yeah, that's pretty much what it was. But while I was a music major, I learned pretty much everything I could, and I had consistent A's. So I was thinking about it, and I kind of was like, I don't want to be a music teacher if this doesn't pan out the right way. I need to have a backup plan, or I need a day job that will help me fund my hobbies until I can make my side hustle my main hustle. Work smarter, not harder. So what ended up happening is I switched from music back to criminal justice with forensic concentration. But then my parents, their health started declining towards in my last year. So I decided to drop the forensic concentration in order to graduate like immediately, so I'd have a degree in case something happened. And here I am, man.
That's awesome. We're going to be right back, and then right after this short commercial break, we're going to talk about your Crohn's disease and how you're a big advocate for it, and how you want to move forward with the movement that you're starting to grow. So
Okay.
We'll be back right after this.
This program is sponsored by Lasell University in Newton, Massachusetts.
Welcome back to WLAS Noon. I'm Matt Jacobson, and alongside me, very, very, very special guest, Sunset Capone. We have the laser updates being updated right now, so we will get back to that in about 10 or 15 minutes right after this segment. So you are very open. You have Crohn's disease. I do as well. Something that, we're definitely pretty thankful for, somebody coming out, just saying out like how hard it is to have it, because I can tell you it's pretty bad. The frequent hospital visits, the extra doctor appointments. I have my infusion next week for it. So it's definitely pain. It's definitely pain to have it, but please tell me, like, how did you find out that you were diagnosed?
So, before we go on, I just want to say shout out to all my fans and followers listening in, and my private Facebook group. I see you guys, not invisible to me. But yeah, so as far as the whole Crohn's thing, so back in May, this past May, I had a show with my band, Broadway. They're not affiliated with Sunset Capone in any way, shape, or form, but I was doing a show with them in Times Square, and I decided I was going to propose to my girlfriend at the time, and everything went awesome. It was amazing. Right in the middle of our set, I stopped everything, did it, cloud nine. But then a week later, I had to obviously go for the procedure to get scoped and checked out. And before that, I had as part of the diet for this, I had cut out coffee and stuff like that. And it seemed like all my symptoms that I was experiencing just kind of disappeared. So I was like, it's probably just the coffee. I'm gonna wake up from this thing. Everything's gonna be fine. I'm gonna go on about my life. And when I woke up, the doctor looked me in the face. He's like, I'm sorry to tell you, but you have an incurable disease. And I'm like, what? He was like, it's called Crohn's. He's like, you also have diverticulosis and a couple other things. And I'm like, what? And it was just I ended up taking off like the rest of the week from work, trying to like sort through. I had to learn as much as I could about this and figure out how it's going to affect me, you know. And some of the things that the doctor said to me were like terrifying, like to have the connections in your organs possibly get mixed up, like that's insane. When I started hearing it, I was like, it altered my view on how I look at this life, you know, as I'm sure it probably altered yours as well. And I mean, it was good to understand why I was having having all these like stomach problems and stuff like that, and knowing that like there's other people that have been down that path before, knowing that I'm not alone in this and that people are actually trying to come up with more and more solutions. Like there's people that are experimenting with mushrooms like chaga and stuff like that are trying to use that to treat Crohn's, and like there's all these different medications they're working on. My doctor said he's been watching one that he hopes gets passed through because it might be like a saving grace kind of thing. Probably cheaper than the $26,000 injections that you have to get every 2 months. But essentially I went from cloud 9 to the bottom. I don't know, I didn't have a really good outlook on life, and I thought it was probably, the doctor said it was really aggressive in my case, so as soon as the symptoms come back and I have flare-ups and all this other stuff, he said I'm going to end up straight in the hospital, because it's just, it is what it is. But it kind of motivated me too, though.
What type of stuff did it like motivate you to do exactly?
Well, it motivated me to not wait on anything, to push even harder. Like I've always been going 110% with this, from the moment that I decided to jump back into music and really hit it. I was already going 110%, but now it's kind of like this is making me reevaluate every move I make, because I don't have time like I thought I did. Like when you're younger, like you're in your 20s and stuff, or even younger than that, you're on your way up. You have like allegedly you have all this life ahead of you, possibly. Not a lot of my friends didn't, but like, a lot of times your viewpoint is that you can, I have tomorrow, I can do this tomorrow, I can do something tomorrow, I'll plan this, next week, and then the month after. Well, after having this happen to me, it's like you breathe in, you breathe out. That's how fast life can change. You never know what's going to happen. So I don't even, a lot of times I don't look at this life like I'm going to have tomorrow, because I might not. I could leave this radio station right now, knock on wood, and get hit by a car. Somebody skids out in the rain. This could be the last interview I ever do. We don't know. That's why, like, I go hot and heavy with everything I do. So I'm just, when I was diagnosed, it kind of was like, hey, you might not have as long as you think you do, and there might be complications. You might have to have surgeries. You might not be able to go on tour. You might get sidelined. Your dream might not come true. Like something like that. But I mean, in this day and age, because of technology, if there's a will, there's a way. We can make stuff happen. I mean, they're on the verge of coming out with they just signed like a VR character as an artist. So like if that kind of stuff is happening, you can do almost anything. But what it's doing is basically making me want to, one, solve my problems, two, work harder on the dream, and three, possibly get to the point where once I'm making enough money from music, where I can start up some foundations. There's two, like I would like to start up a foundation that maybe kind of helps with like a lot of the experimental side of Crohn's, and maybe get people that are willing to like help out like a lot of like doctors and stuff like that with testing different things, because I mean they're always looking for people, and it's like you can't just go test out Crohn's medications on people that don't have Crohn's. That's not really an effective way of measuring it. So you need people that have Crohn's that are willing to take part in these kinds of things. But the other foundation that I've wanted to do, that I started calculating, is a lot of my fans have a lot of depression. They've been through, like, they connect with my music because it's heavy. It has a lot of like really heavy experiences packed into it, and a lot of fans will listen to the music and they'll connect with me because of the pain that they felt in their life. And I realized that there's so many people out there, as I talk to them, that don't really have like proper guidance or somebody really helping them to like sort through their issues and their problems and kind of solve them or help them to, you know, even just to not feel alone or something. So I was like, you know what, I want to start a foundation that also helps fight mental illness, you know, and depression and things like that. But I want it aimed at social media. I wanted to basically get about 4 social workers with, you know, 1 manager. Essentially, it would cost probably about $360K a year to pay everybody. But I'd want them to go on Instagram and find people in, you know, I guess you'd say in my fan market, and essentially reach out to them, make sure they're doing okay, check up on them and stuff, and just, you know, it kind of help save some people, because I've had a lot of suicides in my life, and I don't want other people to experience that. You know, same thing with like with Crohn's. Like, I would never wish this on my worst enemy. You know, like I want to, if I have the ability to go up and you know, it's like, I guess it's like Spider-Man. You know, with great power comes great responsibility. Well, I want that power so I can do good things, you know, but I mean, it's hard. It's a real tough industry. It's a tough life. I mean, like I said before, I'm 36. I've been doing this like over 15 years, since I was like 20. Like I've been serious since then. And I made a lot of headway in other way, you know, in other genres and everything, but no one came out and helped me out. No one's given me, you know, no one's really given me chances to do anything. No one's, you know, co-signing me. No one came out the woodworks, you know, to dump money into me. You know, no one's advertising me. I'm advertising me. Everything that I've accomplished to this point has been brute force. You know, I wasn't the quarterback, you know, in high school. You know, I wasn't, you know, I had friends and stuff, but I wasn't, you know, Mr. Popular. You know, like I wasn't, you know, that person that everybody fawned over. You know, plus I'm a small, scrawny dude, so like, you know, a lot of times you see like these big dudes walking around, everyone flocks to them. You know, like you and I we could say the same thing, but if you're like a big dude, you know, you could say with like even a little bit of emphasis, and people will just break out in the laughter. Me, I gotta make a lot of noise. You know, I gotta really go over top. You know, but it is what it is. That's essentially what I want to do. Is I want to get to a point where I have enough money and I have enough connections with companies and stuff where I can set up foundations to help people, whether it's Crohn's or mental illness or something else that I discover along the way, you know?
So, like, how were you able to advertise yourself? You talk about being loud, you talk about, you know, how you have to really make a voice for yourself, but, like, in what ways are you doing that?
So, essentially, I mean, I throughout my time, I had met a bunch of people and eventually came into contact with this guy, Hector. He goes by the name Hector Gunn, and a brilliant guy. He went and graduated from Berkeley College of Music and all that. When I realized that he had been kind of in the same position as me, as far as you know, starting projects and trying and going out and doing shows and hustling to like make all these connections, and then people just bailing on the projects and people failing you and not following through on their word. I saw that he was as beat up as I was, and he had been tired of it, but he was brilliant. He's brilliant, like absolutely one of the most brilliant, you know, musicians and just people I've ever met. And I was like, I really like this dude. I really like connect with him, you know. And so he eventually was working with an artist that got signed, and he and his friends were invited to the top of what was it, for an interview. And they actually had told him, like, you know, you should probably just instead of like, you know, signing and working with us, you should just consider starting your own record label. So he did, and I was one of the artists that he signed. So under his guidance and you know, with help from everybody from the label and my manager, you know, Abby over there, you know, we've pretty much spent the past 2 or 3 years in the red, throwing money out, trying everything under the sun. We've tried all these different companies that promise you this and promise you that. Nah, that a lot of them are just trying to make money, scamming you as the middleman. You know, they're preying off your dreams. You know, I can't even tell you how much money I lost. You know, but essentially the way I'm doing it is I'm doing underground shows. You know, last year I went out to Tennessee just to do a birthday party for somebody. Like and the thing is, I really connect with my fans too. So what happens is I put out ads on Instagram and Facebook. I try a bunch of different ones. You know, if I put out a feature with somebody like Samad Savage or Lil Dee or so on, or Spaceman Zach, whatever, like I'll put out a video, see how the ad does. I'll do a couple different types of ads, see which one works the best, cut all the rest, and then just dump all the money into that one ad that did work. So I have ads out now that just kind of expose me to random people of different markets. You know, what I do is I get their attention. They hit me up with messages and stuff, and I just dig in. I just talk to them like I'm talking to you. I like to connect with the fans, and I mean, I honestly, at some points, I don't even really like calling them fans. Like they feel like friends to me, you know. I like to understand where they're coming from, where they live. We actually have a map that we're making of the U.S. And each state, we have numbers in there for each fan. Once we hit about 20 in a state, that's when we start booking the shows. So that's pretty much how I'm exposing myself and connecting with people. And the thing is, you know, a lot of these artists they don't talk to their fans. They don't reply to their comments. It's as if they're not even seen, you know. And I understand that, like, once you get to a certain point, like if you're Post Malone or something, you know, like, you know, you're gonna have so many messages, so many comments that you can't respond to all of them. I get that, but like, I don't know. Like people like Taylor Swift will stay around for 3-4 hours after their show just to meet up and talk with their fans and stuff. So I'm kind of like, I wanna kind of find the happy medium between the two. I don't want to be that guy ignoring fans, and I like to connect with them, because the more you connect with them, the deeper your relationship is with them, and the more they actually, you know, love your music and want to support you. And a lot of times nowadays, I've seen terrible music go up, and why is that? Because they're fans of you. They're not fans of the music. You know, they're fans of what you stand for, and that's kind of why, like, you know, a lot of times I'll put the music aside and I'll just talk to people like, hey, how are you? You know, like, what's going on? And they'll tell me some really heavy stuff. And that's also the reason why I try not to complain about having Crohn's and all that stuff, is because some of my fans are in worse positions than me and have been through stuff that makes this look like a cakewalk, you know? So that's, you know, everybody's got dealt different hands. You got to play your cards the right way, you know? And it stinks that it took me this long to figure out what works, but I mean, I guess I finally did, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you said that, I mean, obviously you want to get to know all of your fans, but at the same time, you said you want to find that happy medium. Like, can you explain, like, what that means to, like, some people? Because some people, I'm sure you've experienced this in your lifetime. I've definitely experienced this in my lifetime where, you know, like, I'm trying to get an autograph, and then, you know, their time's up or whatever, and you're like the next person in line, they're like this close, and you're just always wondering yourself, like, wow, like, why don't they, like, stick around and, like, give it to everybody, because it's not fair. So, like, can you explain, like, how, like, what that happy medium is, and, like, sometimes, like, because sometimes artists, athletes, all those guys, obviously you have a very busy schedule, very thankful for you driving up from New Jersey to Massachusetts to do this interview with me. But, like, how do you, you know, can you explain that happy medium of, like, the busy schedule that you have, so, like, more people can be more understanding to your situation, so that, like, you know, in case that situation does arise, like, they're like, okay, like, he's not, you know, he's not trying to be mean, he just literally has something in 15 minutes, it, like, has to get there.
Yeah. So, like, almost every time I open up Instagram, for example, I'll have anywhere from like 15 to 30, you know, comments, 20 messages, and all that stuff that I have to respond to. And I don't, like, one of my personal pet peeves is being brushed off, you know, and, like, just kind of ignored. So I would never want to ignore somebody. So when I do open up Instagram, I try to go through everybody's messages. I try to respond to every single person I can, but I know that one day I'm not going to be able to do that. So what I do tell people typically is, hey, listen, I'm not the quickest to respond because I got a lot going on. And then sometimes I'll even go in depth. If I feel like they don't understand where I'm coming from, I'll be like, hey, listen, I got to come up with content ideas. I got to film these content ideas. I got to put them on all the platforms. I got to respond to messages and comments on all platforms. You know, it's not just one. It's not just Instagram. It's TikTok. It's, you know, Twitter. I don't really mess with Twitter that much, but, like, you know, it's like you have all these different, plus I have a private Facebook group where, like, people that really want to talk to me, I direct them to the private groups, because at least I know that if I do get too busy, I have a private group with people that really care about me, that really want to talk to me, and I'll make time to give them stuff that's not posted on Instagram or Facebook. Like, I'll give them behind the scenes stuff. Maybe I'll post like a video of me at the hotel last night, like, oh, it's the night before the interview or something, check it out, like, hopefully you guys are gonna be checking it out or whatever. But yeah, essentially I want to just find a way, to make sure that my fans know that I'm not ignoring them, that, like, aside from all the content and everything, I mean, you have to do a lot of reach out for to get on the radio, do interviews and stuff. You have to record the music, you got to write it, obviously, you got to get mix, master, and edit it, you got to get it pushed out to platforms, you got to hit people up for playlisting, you got to tell what the playlists are organic and what aren't, like, there's like a million and one different things. Like, right now I'm working on also trying to set up, rent out a venue. I don't want to give it away yet. I want to rent out a venue, and I gotta coordinate the whole videography team with the venue owner and everything, and get a couple people involved, and like all this stuff. But all at the same time, I just released that 18-track album, and generally I only like to release singles because it's easier to push them, because you push them for like 45 days and then go on to the next thing. But putting out an 18-track album, I have to push that for like 3 to 6 months. So I've also been editing video, like a whole bunch of video content and clips and everything to put out that you have to constantly repost on TikTok, and it's like there are so many elements and aspects of this on top of a day job. Because if your side hustle ain't your main hustle, yet you still gotta work that day job, So, but that's what also helps me fund the ads right now. But things are about to change, because this, like I said, we were functioning in the red for the past 2 or 3 years, building up. Now we have a whole bunch of things that we're going to be offering people that dig the music. Because, as I said, I've been doing this since I was like 20, right? So if you think about that, that means I have a lot of music probably built up in my catalog that hasn't seen the light of day, right? I have 21 hours, well, actually like 22 hours worth of music that I'm going to be releasing, in the not so distant future. So that's going to be one way, because a lot of fans actually connect with me and they say, how can I help you? And I'm like, well, I mean, you can stream my music, share it and all that stuff, but they want more. So I'm trying to give more of me to them, and I also want to make sure that I never ignore them in any way, shape, or form. And a lot of times when they message me, I like to put that message in there saying, hey, listen, I'm not ignoring you. If I ever don't respond or something, I apologize, but I would never, brush somebody off, because sometimes they come at me with some very, very heavy things, and I can't let them sit, because if I do, then it will remind me of when I was 17 and one of my best friends, killed himself. And if I had been in his life maybe a little bit more, maybe I would have seen the signs, maybe something would have been different. That was like a very heavy burden to wear. So like if I have anything I want to say to my fans moving forward, I just want to say, like, listen, I would never purposely ignore you. I would never brush you off, and I really do care. Like, even when you think everyone else doesn't care, I do. I can barely know you, and I bet you I care. Bet you.
That's actually really nice to hear, and I'm sure your fans really appreciate that, because I know, I actually told you this earlier, but like, I work security, and there are so many artists who go there. One particular artist who there are fans waiting out there, there are fans waiting outside for maybe 3 hours after their show finished. I don't want to say the name because I'm not trying to get sued. But they're waiting out there for 3 hours. And there's like 3 big SUVs just completely blocking the view of the locker room where they're gonna enter out. Well, it's a she. Where they're gonna enter out, and they're out there waiting 3 hours just to get a glimpse at them, and then before they even knew it, all 3 limos just left, and that was it.
Wow.
No interaction. These fans were waiting for 3 hours just to get a glimpse, and they couldn't give him that. And that was really disappointing to see. So I'm really happy that there are people like you out there who, like, you know, don't see your fans as like a dollar sign and more as like not even a supporter, but like someone that like not only that they can relate to you, but you can relate to them in a way. Like I've seen it with artists like Logic, who loves every single one of his fans. I'm a big fan of Logic, mostly just because of who he is as a person. But we're gonna be we're gonna take a short break, then we're gonna talk about your new album and your new song with Lil Dee. We're gonna take a short break, give your voice a little bit of a break here, and we'll be right back after this. Welcome back to WLAS Noon. I am Matt Jacobson. Alongside me here is Sunset Capone. So, Sunset, you just released a new album and a new song with Lil Dee called "You're Not Invisible to Me." So we're not even going to talk about the song right now. I want to talk about how did you guys link up? Like, how did this happen?
So essentially, you know, as I'm going down my IG wall and stuff and checking, you know, in with some of my followers and just kind of messing with their posts, I seen this kid. He was like 12 years old or something, and he was killing it. He was in like a rap battle cipher with like a grown men, and I was like, this kid's incredible. Like, wow, you know. And then I realized that was an old video that this guy had posted. So I was like, if that was him at 12 and he's like 18 now, I'm like, I got to see what he's like now. And I listened to his music, and and ever since I just been following him. And so one day in a comment, I was just like, man, do you ever do features or anything? And he's like, DM me. I'm like, oh snap, you know, like, so I hit him up, and we worked something out, and you know, I ended up you know, booking a venue to record the video and all that stuff, and we worked everything out. And it was like, I was like, man, I'm like fortunate, you know, to even have this opportunity. Like, a couple of the people that I've done features with, like, it felt magical. It felt like after all these years of trying and failing, like I was finally getting like a little bit something back from the universe. I was like, oh my, like it's just taken way too long. But essentially when I met up with him, you know, he's a super nice guy. He's incredibly talented. Like, I mean, you can watch any of his videos, you can listen to any of his songs. You can tell, like, he knows his stuff. He's the real deal. So I was very honored that he, you know, allowed me to like work with him and all that stuff on this song. And also, like, I was surprised when he sent back his lyrics and everything, because like I wasn't expecting the angle that he took. You know, I knew that we were keeping the song in a certain ballpark, but like the way he uses his analogies and phrasing and his delivery and all that, like it's like a perfect package, you know what I mean? So I lucked out. That's pretty much how that happened, if you ask me. Like, I just kind of networked and threw something out there, and it worked, you know.
So like you talked about the ballpark of this song. Like what were you trying to, like, what was that ballpark? Because obviously, like, I assume that you don't just say like, hey, like, send me in something and we'll just go from there, or is that how it works exactly?
So the idea was, when I had asked him for, you know, if he does features and everything, he had said, yeah, you know, let's work out the details and all that stuff. So I sent him a beat and asked, and I knew that the beat was similar to boom bap style. Like, if you listen to the drums in, you know, in the song, it's very boom bap similar. It has a little bit of, it's a little bit different because there's like guitars and stuff in there too. That's kind of like the alt rap side. So it's kind of like a mixture. But I sent it to him. I was like, can you rock with this? I knew he could. I absolutely knew he could, because, like, you know, he's a beast, you know. So but he came back. He's like, yeah, I can do that, no sweat. So I was like, all right, let's write it. I was like, this is the theme. The theme is, you know, the song's gonna be called "You're Not Invisible to Me," because I have fans that that feel like they are invisible, that no one cares about them, no one sees them struggling, no one sees their pain. But when they, you know, they'll send me videos, you know, of them just like pretty much in tears over something or whatever, and they all, a lot of them say a lot of the same stuff, like no one cares about me, and I'm like, you're wrong, I know you're wrong. I know 100% you're wrong because I care about you, so I figured I wanted to write a song specifically for my fans to let them know that they're not invisible to me. Even if I do miss a comment or something here and there, like that's rare. But I mean, I guess moving forward as I continue to go up, like that, it might come a time where I'm gonna have to basically kind of shuttle everybody into the private Facebook group so I can actually talk to them, and make sure that like anybody who wants to talk to me will get to talk to me. You know what I mean? I know a lot of musicians and everything automate stuff, but I might have to do that eventually. But I'm always gonna keep a line open, at least with Instagram. So if somebody wants to reach out to me, it's like all you have to do is search at Sunset_Capone, and there I am. You can send me a message, and that's it. But with the song, the whole ballpark idea was just to let our fans know that we care about them. So when he sent back his verse, I heard it, and it was pretty much about a girl, and I'm like, this works too. I'm like that, it's interesting how you can have the same beat with the same kind of general idea, and two artists will have entirely different views on how they want to approach it and how they kind of like attack it. So I was actually blown away when I heard his verse. I was like, this is awesome. Like, especially towards the end of it, like there's a part where it just kind of hits like a swing, and I'm like, I don't know, like I love it. But yeah, that's pretty much how it kind of worked out. It was just a random comment on one of his posts, and it led to a discussion, and then next thing you know, we worked things out, and then we met up with him in Williamsburg, New York. Yeah, Williamsburg, New York, at some sort of like underground venue, and we just shot everything there. So it was pretty cool.
So I'm sure a bunch of your fans are wondering, are you gonna go on tour soon? And if you are, where are you? What cities are you thinking right now? If you're allowed to say that, I don't know if you are or not.
Well, right now my eyes are set. The two different states that seem to have a lot of people in them that vibe with the music as of this moment is Ohio and Arizona. But like I said before, I'm developing a map, and here's the thing: is I have no problem essentially losing money to meet some of the people that have been supporting me this far, but it's not a workable thing because like with my day job and all that stuff, I only get so much PTO. So basically my band's also going to be going on tour as well, so I might end up meeting fans through them before I meet them through Sunset Capone. But the thing is, we're developing that map, and once we have 20 fans in each state, that's when we're going to book shows. Like I might do a tour at some point. I might just one-off shows in different states. As soon as people are ready, and as soon as I got enough heads in a state, I'm gonna go. Like I'll go there on a weekend and set something up. I'll rent out a VFW. I don't even care. Like as long as I get to meet the fans and the people that have been supporting me and that really want to see me, like that's all that matters to me. I'm not really like going there trying to I'm gonna charge you like $900 a ticket, and here you want this poster signed by me for $1 million. I'm not. No, that's not what I'm about. I was never a salesman. That's probably that's why I feel like whenever I give something to my fans or want to do these shows, I want to give people a deal. I want to feel like I gave them a deal. How much would you expect a pack of 22 hours worth of music of everything you've ever done? How much do you think that would cost? Like, how much would you sell that for?
That's all that. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure.
If did it.
If
put that out for sale, 22 hours worth of all the music he ever did, how much do you think that would sell for per pack?
Per pack, that would probably sell probably like 200, 300,000 maybe, like for someone like him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm pretty much be putting this out for like $100. $100, you have like endless amounts of music that you can listen to, but like for the people that really are diehards, that want to connect more and want to see, even for people that are just curious, that don't even like me, people that are curious about how a musician evolves, because that's what the pack's going to be called. It's going to be called Lifetime of a Modern Musician. Show me from ground zero all the way up to now, like the whole evolution. I even left in the bad tracks so people can point fingers at them and laugh at them, but then see how I evolved along the way. And you know, I would also like to be a good example for other musicians that are coming up, you know, to let them know my pitfalls and the things that they need to watch out for. You know, there's some people that I've met that have done the die hard thing where they're like, I'm going 110% in, I'm going to tattoo my face, and then I can never get a job because I have to make it in music, and then they don't, and then, you know, bad things, and more bad things. So, you know, I just want to say, hey, you know, there is another method. You can have a day job and use that money to fund your hobby and make your hobby the main thing. So that's another option. You can have a day job and use that as the gas for your hobby to make your side hustle your main hustle. So don't ever count that out. You don't have to just jump in the deep end and that's it, you know, and then if you don't make it, yeah, you die in a gutter. No. There's always other paths to take, you know. That's just like with Crohn's. There's always another path to take. You know, like I can go the injection route, but right now my doctor's like, why don't we mess around with some of these supplements while we have the time? Because there's always there's a different, you know, a different path for everybody. But yeah, I think I just definitely went way off topic.
Yeah, a little bit, but you know, obviously, you know, that doesn't matter 'cause it's all really interesting. But I do want to say, like, or do want to ask, because you're from New Jersey, like, what's the fan base like there? Because I know a lot of artists have a deep connection with their city and their state, or even their, in your case, the tri-state area. You know, what's the fan base like there?
It's really all over the place. Honestly, all my fans are outside of New Jersey. I have a small group in New Jersey, but New Jersey, there are so many artists, like talented artists too. I'm not saying just like nonsense artists that are just throwing their hat in the ring on the Post Malone lottery game. No, like I'm talking about like real underground artists like my boy Rossavelli. He's doing some big things. You know, he's super talented, undefeated, you know, in battles and stuff. And there's like guys like Hard Luck out there, you know, like all these New Jersey, you know, Samad Savage from Jersey, Montclair, you know, like all these artists out there are pushing real hard, but there's only so many fans left because everybody's a prominent artist, you know. I mean, it feels like I don't know, it's crazy, but there's also a divide because sometimes Jersey doesn't get along with Philly or New York. There's always some sort of like weird tension going on, but recently there's been some movements in Jersey where they're trying to bring everybody in the tri-state together because we can accomplish more together than separate, you know. So you know, I've started to see more and more collaboration shows, you know, so that it exposes, like, a lot of these artists that are out there in Jersey can kind of collectively expose each other to each other's fans and all that. But New Jersey's all over the place because we are so incredibly packed with people all over the place that, like, the genres, there's no real main genre for Jersey. Like, in some spots it's club spots where it's all EDM. In some spots it's like rock spots, you know, it's all rock. Some spots it's all rap. You know, it really depends on where you're at. I mean, if you're in Jersey, there's 3 different parts of Jersey. There's North Jersey, Central Jersey, and South Jersey, and all of them are drastically different. North Jersey's kind of, you know, if you go really far north, you hit the mountains, but like mainly North Jersey is like a lot of cities and stuff. Central Jersey's like the beach towns, and then South Jersey's practically like you're in South Carolina, you know, like it's all country and stuff, you know, Pine Barrens and all that. And we can generally tell, you know, where someone's from by the way they call whether they say it's pork roll or Taylor ham. I don't know if you know what that is. But in Jersey, you know, that's like one of our big things is pork roll, egg, and cheese. And if someone calls it pork roll, they're generally from southern Jersey. If they call it Taylor ham, they're usually from northern Jersey. But Jersey, the fan base is definitely not where I want to see it. You know, so I have to go out of state a lot of times to have these shows. But as far as like other genres, like the band that I'm in, we do pretty good in Jersey. We have a pretty solid following. But as far as Sunset Capone, yeah, we're still building up people even in Jersey. Like, we got our people, but I don't like asking friends to come out. I don't like asking friends or family to come out to any of my shows at all. because that I did that when I was younger, and it's not, you're not doing anything. They're not fans. They're just there to support you. Like, they don't really vibe with the music. They're not really there to see or feel that song. You know what I mean? Like, you want real fans, like, cause that's what it's about. Like, you know, like, I don't know. Like, that's kind of pointless. Like, I mean, what do you think about that?
You're very right. It's obviously you want your friends and family to support you, but I feel like if there's someone that you don't know who comes up to you and says like, hey, like I support you, like like I support you, like I'm your biggest fan. It feels like you accomplished something, you earned that fan rather than you can have like you can fill like maybe 100 seats with like friends and family and stuff, and but for the most part they would just be doing you a favor. It wouldn't be the same as if there were 20 fans you've never met before that came and support you, or even if you have met them, like people are like, I'm here to see you because I've heard you're good, rather than the like, oh, like you're doing like like, yeah, you're doing great, but there's no like real,
Yeah,
there's no real, it's not real.
Real. It's fake. Essentially, it's fake. You just, it's like fluffing numbers online. Everybody's doing it, and some, like some of the artists like out there feel like they need to do that because like since everybody else is like fluffing up their numbers and all that stuff, like there's a herd mentality also. When a bunch of people are hopping on something, it's almost like giving like, oh, like it's like, yeah, we certify this is good stuff, like, and they could be all fake comments for all but like that herd mentality really exists online. It's disgusting, but there's also some really malicious people out there too. I don't know. I'm not gonna trail off into something else. Let's stay on topic.
So I got one more question for you. For everybody who's listening now and has these big dreams, like whatever it is in life, whether they want to be a musician like you, whether they want to be a doctor, a lawyer, an athlete, whatever their dream is, what is the best advice that you can give one of your fans that they can take in for the rest of their life and use it to succeed?
Let's see. Well, I'll say this, like I said before, and so many other, people have said it as well. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. So essentially, like you can do almost anything. I'm gonna reel back something that maybe some of your parents might have said to you. They said you can anything you can think of, you can become. No, you can't. All right, you can't. There's some things in life that you absolutely cannot do. Like you're not gonna just wake up. Okay, so let's advance time. You're 48 now, and you're like, I'm gonna be the Giants quarterback. You think that's gonna happen?
No shot. Wouldn't happen right now.
The only way that you might even be able to do that is if you bought them and then put yourself on the team. So I guess it is. You know what? All right, maybe it is possible. Let's do something.
If you're very, very rich, anything is possible.
All right. Well, all right. You're not gonna. I don't know. You want to be a dragon? You're not gonna have it. You're not gonna just morph into a dragon and just like take off and decide. No, not everything is possible. But there's a difference between possible and probable. A lot of things are actually probable. You just gotta whiteboard it. Look at. She even said in an interview herself. You gotta literally plan everything out. Don't skip any steps at all. And plan out every move and plan and have backup plans to your backup plans. And logically think about it. Have somebody who can check you too. Even though you're not gonna like it, grow some thick skin and have somebody who's gonna give you a real objective like look at your life from the outside. Because here's one thing, you can't see the picture when you're in it. You know what I mean? Can't see the big picture when you're in it, so you need someone else to occasionally tell you where you're really at. If you're trying for a job that's well above, like, let's say you just get out of college or something, you got your degree, that's fine, but like sometimes you got to work your way up. You got to type those words entry level after your job when you're looking for the job in job search, whether it's on Indeed or wherever. It's the same concept with everything. You got to plan out and really take the proper steps, because a lot of times musicians, the biggest problem I've seen with them is that they get so caught up in this oh, I'm gonna put something out and overnight it's gonna become something like Post Malone. There's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes that people don't realize. He didn't just put something out on SoundCloud and then overnight it just blew up. No, there's a lot more to that. He was on podcasts as the guitar guy, and you know he traveled with them, these Twitch gamers and stuff. They, you know, like there was a lot of things behind the scenes that people don't realize. Also, like, you got to remember that what worked for other people might not work for you as well. You have to figure out your own path, and you have to think logically about a lot of these things that you're going to be doing, you know. And you want to, number one thing I tell people is this. If you want something real tangible, this is what I do. The rule of one. That's what I go by. Just do one thing a day, no matter how small or how big. Just one thing towards your goal. If you do other things, that's great. You got more accomplished, but at least at the end of the day, you know you were one step closer to accomplishing what you came for. You know what I mean? So that's it. You know, whether it's just, you know, like if you're a musician, whether it's just writing a verse, that could be the one thing. Recording it could be another thing. Mixing it, mastering it, you know, even just answering a bunch of messages or something, or reaching out to somebody, or shooting an email to a radio station, or whatever it is. That one thing, you know. And if you want to take it outside of music, it could be job applications. You know what? Just do one job application a day. You know, once you get your degree, just one. You know, you're gonna put out 100 of them and probably not hear anything back. You might hear like no twice after 100 of them. But like, you know, what if some of these inventors gave up, you know, on the 221st time, you know, before they, you know, kind of hit that 222nd time, and then boom, there's the light bulb or something. You know, like you might have, if you give up too early, or you don't try, or you don't have like consistency with what you do. Consistency is key, you know, because with most things, you know, you talk to a lot of people talk. They talk. Oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And how many of them follow through with it, you know? So really it comes down to doing that one thing a day to get you closer so you can sleep good at night. And two, following through, you know? I mean, that's it with everything in life.
All right. Thank you so much, Sunset. I really appreciate you driving all the way from New Jersey to Massachusetts. It's definitely a tough drive. So, you know, I definitely appreciate you coming in here and not just talking over the phone. Really gives everybody a, you know, obviously your viewers on your social media page something to watch for. You know, it was an honor meeting you, and good luck on everything, man. I can't wait to hear you. You know, I can't wait to hear more of your music, man.
Likewise, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely. Have a good day, everybody, and stay safe.
Keep your sunny side up.